A 5'11", 195-pound stick of dynamite got dropped into Norman, Oklahoma this past offseason as Deion Burks announced his transfer from Purdue to Oklahoma. Yes, the Sooners are getting an absolute weapon and, in my opinion, a guy that will be wide receiver one for the Sooners as they head into the SEC in Deion Burks. Hello, everyone. I'm Blayne Gilmer. Welcome into SEC Unfiltered, where we cover all things SEC football here and all SEC sports, in fact. But SEC football is what we're talking about today, with Deion Burks being someone that I just don't feel is getting enough attention in terms of the national spotlight of this type of move that was made. This is a young man whose production jumped greatly with not the greatest quarterback situation, with not the greatest amount of talent around him at Purdue, and yet continued to develop. He has elite speed. Yes, he's a speed guy, but we've seen people who are speed guys that have come in with a lot of hype and things of that nature that haven't exactly panned out. Let's look just across the SEC, if you would, for just a second. Deontay Thornton, 6'5", 214 pounds, could absolutely fly from Oregon to Tennessee last year. Everybody thought this guy, he is going to be the guy. He's going to come in and he's going to replace Cedric Tillman. He's going to replace Jalen Hyatt and all these big-time receivers. Nothing, okay, because he was just speed. He wasn't a complete receiver. Not at least yet. Maybe he'll be that this year for Tennessee. Arian Smith at Georgia. Everybody remembers the 75-yard bomb a couple of years ago in the playoffs from Stetson Bennett to Arian Smith that helped Georgia get back in that game versus Ohio State and go on to win it and then win a second national championship. He scores on reverses and stuff like that, but he will drop a ton of balls. Not a complete receiver, okay? A dynamic player, a track and field guy, somebody who can get open and bust one every once in a while, but not a complete receiver. Deion Burks is a complete receiver, the real deal. And like I said, 5'11", 195. He is going to fit right in and replace what Drake Stoops was for Oklahoma. And what Drake Stoops was for Oklahoma was 84 catches, right at 1,000 yards receiving. I mean, just under 1,000 yards receiving and 10 touchdowns this past year. And that type of versatility, that type of playmaking ability is going to be something that young quarterback Jackson Arnold desperately needs going forward. Listen, they've got guys. Nick Anderson came on strong at the end of last year. Andrell Anthony's coming back from an ACL. There's different guys there that can produce for Oklahoma, and it's not like they didn't have weapons going into this year. But I'm telling you, I think Deion Burks is a difference maker. And the reason I think that about Deion Burks is because it is not simply just his ability to run, right? It's not just his ability to stretch the field. Deion Burks understands timing and he has patience in his routes, okay? Understanding that, hey, he's so quick and he's got such quick twitch and he's also fast. So he's a combo. Some guys who are fast aren't also quick in short area. He's got short area quickness, and he understands when to set up the corner, when to set up the person receiving from, and when to separate from them. He gets open late in the route, which is tremendous for a quarterback because they understand, okay, if he's right with his guy, I can understand that Dion is going to separate from his defender by the time I throw this football. And it gives a young quarterback like Jackson Arnold, who's going to be going into this SEC environment facing really, really good defenses, that is going to be able to say, okay, I'm going to go through my progression, but I know this about Dion. I can trust him to be able to get open late, to make adjustments on the ball. That's one thing that Deion Burks has shown during his time at Purdue, and you can go watch his film. He is able to manipulate his body with the ball in the air to help his quarterback have success. And I think that is a tremendous trait by a wide receiver. If they can understand, okay, here's what I have to do in order what my route says in this concept, but I'm going to be able to adjust on the fly and build that rapport with my quarterback to where I know, okay, if I see this type of coverage and I've got an out breaking route, all right, I'm going to end up sitting this thing down, or I'm going to end up continuing on going based on what they're doing. And that comes with reps. And that's the important thing of getting in the offseason and being able to work with Jackson Arnold. But Deion Burks, guys, is a dynamic playmaker. And like I said, you go look at the rankings. On3 does these transfer portal rankings and things like that. You won't find Deion Burks, ranked up there as one of the top guys in the country or anything like that. And also he committed, rather early. He was in there, got that process kind of done with over there from West Lafayette to Norman, Oklahoma. But don't forget about him, okay? Because like I said, versatile playmaker. He's a guy who Drake Stoops was a guy that they could use in the slot, that they could use out wide, that they can put in motion. They could do different things. You go look at what Burks was asked to do at Purdue. His head coach Walters over there at Purdue said that he's the fastest guy on the team. So with that kind of speed, 4.3 speed, a guy who can just absolutely burn, to be able to use him in different ways, you're going to see Oklahoma and Brent Venables, offense there. I know Brent Venables is known as a defensive guy. But when it comes down to it, those defensive guys, they know what hurts their defense. They know what puts stress on their defense. So they know what they want to see out of their top playmakers on the offensive side of the football. And Seth Luttrell is going to be a guy who is going to know how to use Deion Burks, okay? Guys, he is a guy that comes out of the Mark Mangino, the Mike Leach, the Larry Fedora, the Sonny Dykes tree, okay? He knows how to spread the football around. He knows how to utilize space to get playmakers the football, and Deion Burks is going to love playing in this system. Now, listen, admittedly, there's going to be probably a little bit of change here from the Big Ten that he was playing into the SEC. There will be times where I think they'll probably want to move Deion Burks inside, because there will be times on the outside that he'll be matched up with corners that are just bigger and more physical, okay, than probably what he saw at the Big Ten. And the only way that you can be able to defeat that speed and that quickness is to be able to be physical, especially at the top of the route with the receiver. Now, the rules today for defensive backs make it harder and harder to be able to get that jam, to be real physical. But when you have long arms, guys who are, just absolutely big corners out there that these SEC teams like to go out and get these days, that's what makes it a little bit easier to do. So we'll see how these SEC teams go about attacking Deion Burks. It'll be an adjustment for everybody. Like I said, the rapport that he has to build with Jackson Arnold will be key. And listen, you'll have those opportunities to do so, a few games to start off with before you get into the meat of that SEC schedule there. But I think Deion Burks, guys, one of the more underrated players in the transfer portal window that got picked up going from Purdue to Oklahoma. And also, guys, I think a guy who could be one of the more explosive players in the entire country in 2024. Guys, let us know what you think about the Oklahoma Sooners in 2024, about the offense under Seth Luttrell, new offensive coordinator with Jeff Lebby, having headed out to Mississippi State as the head coach. And guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications right here on SEC Unfiltered, the best SEC entity on the internet. This is where you're going to find all the reaction, all the news, all the breakdowns right here on SEC Unfiltered. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you, and we'll catch you guys next time to talk more Oklahoma and more SEC football right here on SEC Unfiltered.